Good afternoon, ladies, and thank you for joining us in Far Above Rubies today. And welcome to all of our new members. We've gained almost 75 new members in just a few days, and that's so exciting. Thank you for being here, growing in the Word with us today. Our last couple that we will focus on in this series is Elkanah and Hannah, and your reading focus is going to be 1 Samuel chapter 1. Now, you'll go and read Hannah's story in detail in a moment, but quickly, the idea is that Elkanah had two wives, and one had children, and she tormented Hannah over the fact that Hannah had no children. Now, Hannah prayed before the Lord and asked that she would have a child. But I want us to focus on this moment that Hannah turns and says to the Lord, God, if you grant me this desire, if you give me my child that I'm praying for, I will in turn give him back to you, and he will belong to you all the days of his life. And then right after that, it says that the Lord remembered Hannah's plea. The Lord remembered Hannah's plea. How many years had she been childless? How many years had she prayed to have this God-sized dream fulfilled? This woman who had no children, who could not have children at this point, as we understand, she turns to God and says, whatever you give me, I will give back to you. And that's the moment that God granted her plea. Ladies, we have God-sized dreams, and we have them for a reason and for a purpose. God allows these things into our hearts so that we may be a blessing to those around us, that generations to come would be blessed by the God-sized dreams that we have. Hannah's son went on to be one of the greatest prophets of the Old Testament. But this happened because she said, Lord, what you give me, I will return to you. What you bless me with, God, I will in turn bless your kingdom with. And Hannah had a son, and she returned him to the Lord, and he was a blessing to all of us. To all of us. We read Samuel and his guidance and his direction. He was there for King David. He touched many lives and many generations. Who would have ministered to David had not Samuel been there in his life to turn him back to the Lord? What would we have if Samuel hadn't been there to minister to David and to turn him back to the Lord? Hannah's God-sized dream, the moment she handed it back to God in her heart, before it ever existed, she handed her God-sized dream back to God. And when that happened, history was changed. When that happened, generations to come were touched. Sweet sister, whatever your God-sized dream is. Now, I'm going to pause for just a moment here. I want to say that your God-sized dream does not have to necessarily be a spiritual dream. Having a child for Hannah was not a spiritual dream. Being pregnant for 9 months, going through labor and delivery, going through sleepless nights, nursing your baby, which she nursed him, these are not spiritual dreams. They are the dreams of a mother's heart, but they are not spiritual dreams. They're very tangible, physical, real, reality dreams. But when that very real, non-spiritual dream was put back in the hands of God before it was ever fulfilled, all of a sudden it had spiritual effects on the future. So I was going to say, whatever your God-sized dream is, no matter what it is, it does not have to be a spiritual dream. The moment you take it, sweet sister, and genuinely, with all honesty and integrity, put it back into the hands of God and say, God, I've been praying for this for a long time, but I want you to know, Lord, that whatever you bless me with and whatever you are able to fulfill in my dreams, I will hand it back to you. I will use it for your glory and for your kingdom. God, you can take it and use it as a vessel to fulfill your will, oh God. Watch how quickly you see the Lord remember your plea. It might not happen like this. Hannah prayed for a long time. Hannah was tortured about the lack of her promise in her life for a long time. Sometimes we endure pain. Sometimes we endure sorrow because of the lack of that dream being fulfilled. But when we hand it over to God, we can rest assured that He will use our dreams for His glory if we let Him. The power of a praying woman, my friend, I think will only ever be seen for what it is in eternity. The power of a praying woman changes lives. Don't ever stop praying for your God-sized dream. Go read 1 Samuel chapter 1 and see Hannah have the dream, pray for the dream, give the dream to God, and watch God fulfill that dream in her life as she then hands it back to Him. If no one's told you lately, you are loved, you are cherished, you are valuable, and you have power, my friend, when your heart is right with God and you seek His face in prayer. You have immeasurable worth, my friends. That worth is far above rubies. I love you all. God bless you. Have a wonderful Valentine's Day, and I'll see you all tomorrow.